Alright, what's going on developers, there's Mike here. Today we're going to be talking about 5 habits you can apply today as a front-end engineer to make yourself better at coding, okay? And don't worry, these are just simple habits you're going to see. They're not like big implementations or like sophisticated things, just quick habits you can do and apply on your daily basis. And I swear you're going to be a better developer, and this is what I did before I was a senior front-end engineer, okay? So let's dive straight into it. So the first habit I have for you is to have 15 minutes code review before you start your day. So make sure you have also your coffee ready because you're gonna need some caffeine while working, and then go to your latest code, the code that you wrote probably yesterday night or the last time you worked, and review it from start to finish. So review it from start until the end and make sure everything is fine. And sometimes you're gonna notice some stuff that you missed. I'm gonna give you some examples over here. Alright, so if you can see this line, you can see a clear typo in subscriber status, and here's the typo, so you have to fix it over here. So let me write a T. Right, so here's a T, and of course make sure you fix that in your entire code. Then you have another bug, and you can see it over here that I didn't make sure that subscriber data is defined, because if this API request returns something else or changes, subscriber data will be undefined. This is why I have to make sure it won't cause any problems by adding a question mark. So here you go, and you have to add also in here to make sure data is not undefined, and also down there. Alright, so make sure you do that, and sometimes you're gonna be missing some stuff. This is why you do this 15 minutes code review. And once you surf over this entire code and make sure everything is fine, you have to keep notes of your mistakes. You can do that on your own laptop, okay, on a notepad, or I prefer you do them on a mobile phone, because having these notes accessible anywhere would really help you resonate and probably fix these mistakes unconsciously later on. So I have these noted over here. So you can see my notes for MailerLite API integration for today. And here you have them, and later on you won't do these mistakes, okay? And you can have your pull requests approved faster if you're working in a company or with a team, and also you will avoid having this unnecessary bugs happening every time, okay? You write fast code. So this is my first tip for you, or habit you need to adapt. The second habit you have to develop is to spend around 10 minutes of your day messing around with the browser DevTools, okay? I see a lot of front-end developers not knowing how to use their browser DevTools, and they're missing on so much features. Like, there's so much tabs you have to discover during your day. Like you can mess up with the console tab or the performance tab, the network tab, the application tab. There's so much to see. Let me give you a quick example of some stuff I noticed people not knowing about until this time. So this is the DevTools in the browser, and there's so many tabs you can explore, from the Elements tab, Console tab, Sources, Network, Performance, Memory, Application, Lighthouse, and others. And here's a quick example of something some developers I see not knowing about, which is the throttling. So if you're testing something like a spinner or a loading state on your web page and you want your internet to be slower purposely, you can choose the throttling in here, and you can choose fast 4G, slow 4G, 3G, offline. So if you want to test something on your website once your connection isn't there, so if the user doesn't have connection, you can choose offline, and you can probably have on your screen a pop-up saying you don't have an internet connection or something. So this is very useful for every front-end developer. And spending 10 minutes of your time messing around with the DevTools is super important to like gain more knowledge about web development as a whole. So the third habit I have for you is gonna be a bit weird, and you're gonna hate me for that, but yeah, you're gonna have to speak to a rubber duck, okay? And it's called the rubber duck debugging challenge. And you have to debug your problems while speaking to an object. And now it's gonna sound funny and silly, but while doing that, trust me, you're gonna be solving most of your problems, and you're gonna not bother people around you and start asking for help. Because sometimes speaking to someone out loud, even if that someone is the real person, is gonna be beneficial. Let me show you a demonstration about that. So in my case, I don't need a rubber duck because I got a lot of toys, and usually these are from McDonald's. So we can choose SpongeBob and talk to SpongeBob. So let me grab him. And let's actually explain to SpongeBob what's happening in my code. Probably he can help me like figure out things, and yeah, let's do it. So SpongeBob, help me debug something. I'm trying to add an email address to a group in MailerLite. Okay, and I'm having an error from the API. It's saying that the email isn't in my email list from the beginning or something like that. Like, this is what I understood out of that error. So what can we do over here? Let me think of it, me and you. We need to make sure the email is already inside MailerLite. So how can we do that? We can't, of course, do it from the front end. We need an API, probably a GET API, that returns a boolean confirming the email is already in the system. So let us go to the docs of MailerLite, make sure there's an API for that, call it, and if this API returns a true, like an OK, we can actually perform the add to the group function that we wrote later on. So let us actually do that and go to the docs and make sure this API is available so we can try it and maybe it solves the problem. So by communicating this to SpongeBob, it's way better than just staring at your screen and trying to find a solution and just staring at that bug like that, alright, like we usually do as developers. So having this quick talk could help you find the solution, and if not, right now you communicated it to SpongeBob, you can communicate the same problem better to a real person because you've already done that before. You practiced your communication about that problem. You can speak to your tech lead, to your scrum master, to a senior developer, to a friend about that problem, and you can find your solution easier. So give this method a try, and trust me, it won't be weird, okay? You're just trying to solve your issues, and sometimes speaking to objects is way better than speaking to humans. Now, coming up on number 4 is not a habit that you have to develop, but a habit that you have to remove, okay? So write me a MailerLite API integration for inserting subscribers in the email list or whatever the prompt is. And if I go down, I can see the full implementation done by ChatGPT or by AI or any other AI you're using. And over here, I can see the code generated with a fancy copy button. And this is the habit that you have to remove, is copy pasting code without even reading it. So if I read this code, it could be useful, it could be the correct implementation, but sometimes it's not. And if you rely blindly on AI, it's gonna cause you problems. And I see this mistake happening a lot with junior developers because they rely really blindly on AI without understanding what it's generating. This is why you have to remove that habit and stop copy pasting randomly. Habit number 5 is celebrating your successes, okay? I see a lot of developers developing awesome things and they don't even smile about it, not even think about what they achieved. And this is wrong because you don't need to build a new LLM or build a new Facebook or build anything huge to celebrate things in coding, okay? If you solved the bug or did one tiny feature in your app or at work or anything, you have to celebrate it with at least some reflection. So make sure you think about what you did, how it went, how you solved it, and how you thought about this problem, okay? And smile and think that the next day is gonna be better than this day, okay? Make sure you do some self-therapy over here. Make sure you think about your successes because this is what matters at the end of the day. We're coding to build things, to be innovative, okay? To achieve great things, and we don't really want to be always stressed behind our desktop and just, cursing our lives because we're spending hours and hours of our days coding. This is why you have to celebrate your successes. So here you go, 5 habits you have to start adapting in your daily life if you want to be a better front-end developer or a software engineer as a whole. Now, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope this style of making tech content is really special, okay? I'm just starting out with this channel, and if you really want to help me grow it like I'm doing right now with such type of content and way better, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's gonna help me a lot. And I want to invite you to our own coding community, our own Discord, which is behind me over here. I'm gonna show you real quick. So here you have it. You can see our server, and I'm posting amazing things over here. And if you want to join it, the link is going to be in the description down below, and you're going to really help me grow this community together so we can help you become a better developer.